I really think with the way that I currently look, I could win Eurovision. Hey Hoties, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So I know there's a lot of end of the year content coming your way. A lot of people are days deep into their Vlogmas, however they celebrate Vlogmas, whatever that looks like for them. Now I've done the Messmas before and you know, like I'm kind of doing it this year over on Instagram, but guess what? I have already fallen off the bandwagon. I have already messed up my days in a row of posting. And so guess what? I'm just gonna kick back. I'm gonna post what I can on my main channel here, not in short form. My intention is to just post as I regularly do. But because I know you're getting a lot of end of the year content, and I'm also getting a lot of the end of the year content, I thought what would be nice for me to touch down on in my makeup collection is like, what is the creme de la creme? What do I view as the creme de la creme of my makeup collection? And it's kind of an activity of, it's like, if I could only keep one thing in each category, it's also the practice of that too. So I put a full face on of makeup and I'm going to tell you about it. And not everything is new. This was just anything in my makeup collection was allowed to be picked for this. So there are some products that I tried for the first time this year that are in this particular video, but there are also some products that you've heard me talk about a million times. And we're going to walk through each thing. And so these are like my absolute favorite things in my makeup collection right now. And so I hope to kind of keep this up every year and come back to this and see what's changed, because it does change sometimes, but also sometimes you have something in your collection forever. And that is the thing that you just love it. I would really love to see like big content creators also do this activity where you really get to see them talk about their actual favorite things, not all of their favorites, like the thing that if they could only keep one, what would that thing be? Before we jump into everything, just make sure you like this video, leave like a nice little comment, little subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Everything in my desk is in disarray, and I think that we need to reconsider that, Tom. I got my haircut, I acknowledged it in the intro, so like, don't be alarmed. Let's start with primer. There's gonna be footage that I took while I was applying this face of makeup that will be playing while I talk, but also you can, like, you know, you're gonna see the final look. You already saw it. This is the look. So I actually don't have the thing that I would really want to talk about, but I do have its sister. For primer, I chose the Victoria Beckham priming moisturizer. I have the shade Golden right now. In the best world, I have the original one, which I did pan this year. Now I have this, and I picked this over my Sisley Blur powder. I picked this over my vitamin rich face base and like kind of everything else, because I know that if I was just a regular consumer of makeup and I wasn't a beauty content creator, after I have found that primer, it would be the primer that I would always want to use. It is the primer that I always want to use. I do have a version of it. I want to say this about the Golden one. I don't think it affects my skin so much that it really alters the tone. I know some people use this as a mix-in, like kind of like the bronzy. When I use it as a primer, the foundation that I put over it doesn't seem to be completely altered by it. So that's just something to know. But I know that other people do that. That's just my experience with it hasn't been that it like really deepens out my foundations at all. It's like a priming moisturizer. So you get the benefits of the moisturizer. But I feel like this plumps my skin and it blurs my skin a little bit. It gets ready for all my other blurring that I would like to do on my skin. What I would really love to do is like look like a walking, talking, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, amazing, beautiful, stunning filter. And I feel that this is like the best first step for that. Now, the blur powder from Sisley is also a really good blurring step. However, I took that with me to Vegas this weekend, and wouldn't you know, that fucked my face up so fast there in the desert. And you know what I really wish I would have had? My Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. And I didn't have it. And I didn't bring this one with me because I was like, it's the golden one. It's like, I don't want to take the golden one. Also, like, traveling with this would probably be annoying. I'd probably decant it into something else if I was going to travel with it, because it's big, it's kind of heavy, and there's a 40-pound weight limit on Spirit Airlines. So I don't know, this might have got me a whole pound taken off. On the way there, I did fine, 33 pounds. On the way back, 39 pounds, 50. Is that how we talk about weight? 39 and a half pounds. 39 pounds 50 would be how you say British money. British money? UK money? Don't explain to me what the UK is down below. I don't really understand, and I don't need to understand. I probably should understand. I'm a basic American. Let me be stupid, please. I'm tired of being smart. Okay, I don't want to do it anymore. I just have had the highest success rate with this primer that I've had, and I just really like it. Is it worth $90 for this? To me, to me, for me. Yeah, absolutely. I miss her already. I'm sad that I'm gonna have to force myself to work through other things, and I don't have to force myself to work through other things. But primer is something that I use every time, so I can probably get through a couple primers before I go back to the original one. And then I also have this golden one. And then I just said that the golden one doesn't really affect my foundation, but sometimes in my head I think it does. Because I watch other people use it, but that's like not my personal experience with it. Anyway, all that to be said, I love this primer. I can't wait to use up some of my other primers so I can buy this primer again, and then I just have this version, and then I also have the regular version. And then probably another primer from a brand review that I'm trying to do. And that's it. That's all the primers I want. No more primers. Just these two. Just the regular one, actually. I don't even really need the golden one. Let's move on to foundation. We're gonna breeze through this one. If you happen to be new to me, I'm sorry, because we're just gonna really power through this one because the people who've been here, the girls who have been here are the girls who know. Sorry to gender that. People are, we need the hoties who've been here are the hoties who know. Okay, ow, I'm hurting my hand. My hands were so dry. The fucking desert! Anyway, I had a great time at Vegas. I don't know how much I'm gonna like talk about it on my main channel. I'm doing a Patreon vlog, and that's a plug for my Patreon. Patreon.com/hautemesstom. There's no pressure to join my Patreon, but that's their content because I talk about everything. It's gonna be a long vlog. You're not gonna see a lot of Vegas because it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I don't know why Taylor Swift stole my lyrics and then made a song because it's me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem vlogger. It's me. Anyway, what were we talking about? Foundation. Okay, you know, what if I didn't pull it out? Plot twist. What if I just like casually threw in something other than the Surratt Dewdrop foundation? Would you be shook? Would you be shook? I've had no energy all day. Where is this coming from? It's like the sleepy ha-has. It's only 4 in the afternoon. But I did work today and I thought, I don't want to do that anymore. My favorite foundation is the Surratt. My favorite foundation is the Surratt Dewdrop foundation. It's been my foundation of choice for a very long time, for the past couple of years. Since before anyone even really watched my channel, I was praising this to the high heavens. I did buy this because Michelle Wong said it was the best foundation, and I agree with her, but I think she actually changed her favorite foundation to something else in the past couple of years. Because Michelle does a video concept similar to this, if not this exact thing, on her channel every year. And I think she typically does it part of Mishmash. So anyway, we'll find out. TLDR of the Surratt Dewdrop foundation is, I like the coverage of it. The coverage is pretty light. It's not like an intensely pigmented foundation. However, it does blur my skin, and I don't have a lot of texture on my skin when it comes to like acne or like acne scarring. I don't have a lot to cover up. I really just kind of need evening out of redness, but I don't even really mind some redness showing through, but I love the blur that this gives me. Remember, I'm all about the blur. I would not like to be pore-sieved. You know, like that is where we're at in my life. I just want no more pores. I have pretty big pores because I have oily skin. Those pores be open. Okay, they're just like, hello. And this helps blur those. And now I do, the power of 3 sets you free. If you remember Charmed, you know. So it's not the only thing blurring on my skin because I have to, so many things. I love the blur. I have the shade 1.5 for reference. If you're a skin twin of mine, 1.5 is where I would go. I say this every time I talk about this foundation, but the mechanism in which to get out the foundation is the dumbest thing. It doesn't work very well. It's so stupid, but the goop inside is my favorite goop. If you would like a really detailed review of this foundation, I did one a couple years ago or like last year sometime. I will link it in the cards and try to remember to link it down below. I also did a Surratt Beauty brand review where I talked more about it. I don't want to get too far into it because it's like truly, I talk about this ad nauseum, but I don't want you to feel like if you're new that I'm not going to tell you, but also the people who are here all the time, they're like, okay, Tom, we get it. I do have a Surratt, oh my God, what influencer goes to one influencer event, starts talking about promo codes. I do have a promo code with Surratt. It gets you 15% off. It's HAUT15. Please do not feel like you have to buy from Surratt or use my promo code at all because I want you to make the best purchasing decisions for you. Just because I like something and based on what I said, you wouldn't like it, but you feel compelled to because you like me or like whatever. You don't have to do that. Don't do that. You know my spirit, you know my heart, okay? Don't just be buying things. But if you want to buy things, I can't stop you. If you want to buy things from Surratt, and I can't stop you, HAUT15, will save you 15%. Also, there's so many other people who have promo codes. If you are shopping at Surratt, please use a promo code. And I think they also have like a welcome promo code that's even more than my promo code. And I think they've been doing like 30% off at random times through this holiday season. So like, just pay attention, keep your eyes open. And your spirit free. Set your spirit free. It's the only way to be. Oh my God, that was so masked. For concealer, This one's a new one. And I wasn't expecting to fall in love with the concealer because I've been like about just concealer in general. It's been a long time since I fell in love with the concealer. And the last one I really fell in love with was the Born This Way concealer from Too Faced, which is like how embarrassing. I would never wear that again. It's just like so full coverage and it's just like not my gig anymore. Why am I talking like this? What happened to me? Who hurt me? So the Surratt Dewdrop concealers dropped this year. They dropped this year. Sorry, I didn't realize that I did that. I didn't do that on purpose, but maybe I did. And if I did, I'm a genius. And if I didn't, I'm stupid. Let me be stupid. That's my one request. Please let me be stupid. I have 2 shades because Surratt only made 10. So good luck. And I mean that. Good luck, because I don't even think either one of these shades is the right shade for me, so I like mix them to like get a good shade for me. Here's my problem with that. While I can favorite something, and so that could be the best thing in my collection, I don't think that that means it can't be criticized, okay? What we're not gonna do is say that this is a perfect product, especially not for everyone, because Surratt's shade range is like weird and limited. And like like the undertones are like weird in a lot of their shades, and like and then also the depth that they choose to not go to. You know, I see you, Surratt. I like you, but also we have to work through something. What is this fuzz? We have some things to work through, Surratt. One of those things being, why are there only 10 shades in your concealer? And why isn't there a perfect one for me? If this is my perfect shade, and it is my perfect, it's 1.5 is a really good shade for me. Why do I have to mix 2? Anyway, I have the shades 1 and 2. Here's why I like this. This is actually a really, really high coverage concealer. However, the formula is incredibly thin and it blends out seamlessly and it does not look like I'm wearing makeup when I have it on. But yet, my skin is fully covered. Like, it's a full coverage concealer. So because I also don't really like a lot of coverage, I use like the smallest amount of it and I still get a lot more coverage than I would if I use the same amount of product with like one of my other concealers. Another reason I really love this is because it stays on my under eyes a really long time without creasing. Now, I have not found a crease-proof concealer, and I've tried some ones that some of my friends have recommended to me this year, and I've really not found them to be not creasy. This is like the least creasy I have found. Sometimes I'll be wearing makeup on my face that isn't the most long wearing, but if I wear this, at the end of the day, she's still there. You can blend it out with your finger. You can blend it out with a brush. I've not tried it with a sponge because I'm not a sponge person. I know. I don't know why. Well, it's really the reality of it is that if I want to dampen my beauty blender, I have to go up a flight of stairs. And you know what? I'll do a lot of things for makeup, but walk up a flight of stairs, not gonna do it. So forget about the beauty blender. Now, if I was a smart person, I would store my beauty blender upstairs so that I could wet it and come downstairs because, you know, like after work, be like, I'm gonna do my makeup. I don't. The Surratt Dewdrop concealers are really, really good. I will say this though, and I think they go well with the Surratt Dewdrop foundation, but they're like a lot more coverage than the Dewdrop foundation, so you have to be kind of careful. And good luck finding your perfect shade because, again, 10. Only 10. I did my makeup in a really weird order in the filming process, so I don't really remember how I did it, but I think the next thing I put on is my contour. And I used the shade Intuition from Ritual Defeat, and this is one of their Inner Glow cream pigments. Someone was like pissed off that I ranked the Victoria Beckham contour stylist higher than this in what I very honestly said was an arbitrary scale of what I thought the best contour was. Because I needed you to listen to me and not just look at the fucking numbers, okay? I don't make videos that are hour long just for you to ignore me. Because you look at that ranking, I didn't even say that it was my favorite. I just thought it was the best for all of the reasons that I thought it was the best for. But it didn't say it was the best one for me. I just thought it was better because of other reasons. But again, it's not my favorite. This is my favorite. Here's why. It's 100% this color. It looks very intuitive on my skin because I have a little bit of a pinky undertone. Like, I'm neutral, but I like lean into pink more than I lean like peach or green or yellow. This has a nice little bit of rosiness to it, but it is gray. Gray with like, it's like, you know, whenever someone makes themselves a mimosa and it's like mostly champagne and then they like do a floater of orange juice. This is gray with a floater of brown and a little bit of pink in it. And so whenever I use it for a contour, baby, this formula is one of Ritual Defeat's best formulas. I love Ritual Defeat, but like sometimes their formulas go awry on me, like where they just don't work very well on me. This blends out beautifully. It doesn't lift anything. Like, it leaves the foundation where it's supposed to be. And then whenever I blend out, I just like have this perfect contour and it never like looks dirty or muddy. Now, I imagine on some people, maybe people who like lean a little bit warmer but are as fair as me, but maybe not have the same experience as me because like they might need a little bit of warmth to their contour product. For that reason, I would just recommend this to people who have like fair skin with cooler leaning or like straight neutral, because I think if you go any warmer, I think this might start looking a little bit muddy on you. But it's an incredible formula. I like the way it sculpts my face. I feel lost without it. It's beautiful, it's stunning, it's gorgeous, it's amazing. I used a lot of cream products today. So for my highlight, which I applied before a lot of my other cheek products, because I like to do some layering with this particular product. Now, when I think about all of my highlights, this is actually not the highlighter that I use the most, but it is the highlighter that I believe to be most versatile because I can use it as a primer. I can use it as a highlight. I can use it as like a glowy base just on my cheeks, which is like what I kind of did today. And then I never feel like I need to put more on top. Like I sometimes do, because if I'm really doing the most, then I'm going to like do the most. But it's the Auric Glow Lust. Here's the deal. Liquid highlighter, I have a lot of my qualms with different ones. While I like the Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight wand, which I have come around to these days, a year later, which I hate, don't love that. Char's, she's really getting me. She got me a couple times this year, and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what happened, but me and Char were like on the same wavelength. Hey, Char. A broken clock is right twice a day, okay? And I just think that's who you are. But the Auric Glow Lust is chef's kiss. It adds a nice amount of coverage so that whenever you're putting on a place where you don't want to emphasize like texture and stuff, it still does the highlighting without all of that enhancing. Now, it's going to enhance a little bit, right? But like there's a lot of highlighter products that when you put it on an area of your skin that's like not at its best, like maybe an area of your skin that like has a lot of texture or whatever, I feel like it doesn't enhance it at all. And I have it on my cheeks today. And so what I did today is before I put on blush and, well, I guess I didn't put on any more highlighter, but before I put on blush, it's also underneath where the blush went because I wanted to make the blush a little more glowy. So yeah, the Ravendell really kicked out of the park. Not only that, like this is one of my favorite products to like interact with. Like it's nice and it's heavy. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's just a unique looking piece in my makeup collection. I can always see it. Even though I've been using a little bit less this year than I did last year, I always think about it. Like I see it and I go, eyes on you. I don't use it as much as a primer as I was there for a bit. I've been more selective about where my glow goes these days, but I will use it as a primer sometimes because sometimes I'll put primer down and then I'll put this down as a second primer in the glowy areas, but before my foundation, and then I'll put it on top after I put foundation. You know, listen, sometimes you just have to be the star that you need to be. And to be the star that I need to be, it requires a couple layers of Glow Lust. And I'm not going to hear anything about it, okay? For blush, I feel like this should come as no surprise. I've said it many, many times in my videos, many times, that the Phytosurgeon Skin Sparks are where it's at. But even more recently, I've been talking about how amazing the shade Condensate is for people with fair skin and fair, like neutral, fair, cool-leaning skin. Oh my God. What I'm really happy to say is that with Phytosurgeons, I can confidently say that there's gonna be a blush in there that can do what Condensate does for me, for you. So Condensate might not be the perfect shade for you, but Phytosurgeon is gonna have something to offer. Whereas the concealers from Surratt, I'm not gonna say that that's gonna have something to offer everyone. I can confidently say that Phytosurgeons is gonna have something for you, okay? And God bless Jason and Tom, okay? That's all we have to say. You know, we must thank them. It's an easy formula to use. It's a gorgeous formula to use. I don't know what else to tell you. If I can only choose one blush to keep on using, it's going to be a Skin Spark. And Condensate, even though it looks really cool tone in the pan, if for some reason when I get it on my cheek and I do other looks with it, it doesn't really matter the undertone of the look that I'm doing. It's like Condensate will work. And I don't know the magic of that. I don't know what they did. I don't know what magical journey these two people went on to like make something like this happen, but like they like really did that. Okay. And I feel like I'm low. I feel like it's my chair. I just felt like I was like in the middle of this. My head was just like, you couldn't see my shoulders, my broad shoulders. It's one thing I do have that I hate. I don't like having broad shoulders, but because I like to wear like women's clothes and like, guess what? Hey ladies, did you know that your shoulders, famously not broad, and bring back a shoulder pad. That's all I'm saying. I can take the shoulder pad out and then I'll be able to wear it. Do I need to tell you more about this? I don't think I do. Let's get into the gig with the bronzer. Now, this might come as a shock. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Because I have had ups, nope, mostly downs with this brand. And that's why it took me a really long time to not even buy this product. This product came across my way in some friend mail. My friend Nicole gave it to me. The Gucci bronzer. I didn't believe anyone. I didn't believe them. I have the shade 01. And a lot of people with skin tone similar to me were like, this bronzer is so good. Like, it's a really good bronzer. It looks really natural on my skin tone. I was just like, there's no way. Because let me go through my experience with Gucci. The first Gucci product I purchased were the Gucci lipsticks. And like, I like the Gucci lipsticks because of the colors. I don't like the Gucci lipsticks because of the formula. They're a fine formula, but it's like really the colors that Gucci gets right, okay? I bought the eyeshadow palette. I liked it, the first eyeshadow palette, the Palette Beauté de You. And I liked it, but I also never used it. So did I like it? Probably not. And then, ooh, that Gucci foundation, the new one, the matte one, oh, wasn't great. It was certainly green. So it was like, Gucci can get the nuances of a lipstick. No prob. They said, no prob, we got you. And I was like, well, the rest of your stuff, I'm like, not really vibing. Then Nicole didn't even tell me she was sending this to me. She threw it in a package with other stuff that I knew I was going to be receiving from her. And I've used this like almost exclusively as my bronzer of choice since I've gotten it. It has a nice, like, little bit of rosiness to it. And on my skin tone, again, because I lean a little more pink, it just feels really at home. Not only that, the formula is pretty blurring and looks... blurring? Blur? And, like, the compact is pretty. I just hate that there is this secret brush component. I would rather it just be, like, a thinner compact and, like, made of, like, aluminum or tin or metal of some sort, because that's what I want. And then I wish that the pan was refillable, because I would love to have this as a forever component. I just think that that was a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of an oversight from Gucci, you know? I think that they could have done a little bit more thinking, but it's a really beautiful component. It's nice to interact with. It's like luxe, you know? And then the product is really beautiful too. So it kind of like 3 out of 3. Was that 3 categories? It gives me the luxe experience on all formats, because if I'm buying something in beautiful packaging, I expect the product inside to be as beautiful, if not more. And Gucci really did that with this. It's an expensive bronzer. However, I could confidently say that if I paid $65 for this product in particular, I would not be disappointed. And I've tried some other bronzers this year that I was really impressed with. And in fact, I have a lot of bronzers, like too many bronzers right now. And also, like, I think the other thing about this bronzer is it's the only powder bronzer that I have that doesn't read like straight bronzer on me, which sometimes I really want that bronzy bronzer look, but this reads more as like a natural, like soft bronze, as opposed to like being like bronzer, you know? I cheated. Of course I did. It's the powder category. It's me. But I use 3 types of powders. I use one for my under eye, and I use another one for my face, and then I use a finishing powder. It is what it is. So for my under eye, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Powder, and I have the fair shade 1, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to read the back. Ah, there's pan! I hit pan. Do you see it? Who's the project panner now? Who's the project panner now? Who's the me. Fucking me. Coming for your gig, Sarah Rose Beauty. I don't know who I was back then. I was like crazy back then, okay? Like I don't even know what was going on back then. Char's right. Twice a day because she's a broken clock. But Charlotte's powder products, like face powders, because this isn't the last one we're going to talk about. They are so great because they mattify, but they don't mattify too much. And they do like a nice amount of just like blur finishing. It mostly leaves your skin the way it looked before you put the powder on, but you know it's also extending the longevity of the product that you're putting on top, like putting underneath it. And I just really appreciate that. Now, I hate this packaging. If you buy the full size, you can remove the pan. You can also just buy the refill, but it's not much cheaper. So if you're someone who likes to like BYO like powder set, which God, I would love to do that. And I did take this out for a while, but I use it more when it's in the compact. So I don't know what that says about me, but I think it's a really brilliant product. It really is. Here's why. Because I do like a brighter under eye, but I don't like a brighter under eye that's like 3 concealer shades lighter or even 1 concealer shade lighter. And what this does is if I use the concealer under my eye that matches perfectly, this brightens it just a little bit, but does it without like looking crazy. If you're really into a bright under eye, I think that's really cool. I just think at my age, no, I just think that where I'm at with makeup right now, I'm a little bit more, you know, conservative with how I do my makeup. Oh, sorry, I just had a trauma response to that word. But it does that for me without like going too far. And like, not that there is a too far in makeup, because you can do whatever you want with makeup, but like for me, it's like this right balance of what I want a bright under eye to look like. And it does it for me. Step 2. This is what I like to put on my full face. Is it the regular Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder? Ah, yes it is. And here it is. Look at that pan. No, this one's the mini, and I've been working on this pan for quite some time. Now, I did recently purchase the Givenchy powder. And you know what? I don't... Oh, no. Maybe I'm not... that was the end of October. I'm thinking about exchanging the Givenchy powder for the Charlotte Tilbury powder. Because I like the Givenchy powder, but I don't like it as much as this. And that's why this one's in my favorite and not the Givenchy powder. It's lovely. For basically all of the reasons I talk about the last one, except minus the brightening. And I have the shade 1. It's just a beautiful powder. It's a beautiful, no fuss powder. It's like not trying to do too much. It does like just enough. And I appreciate that about it. I don't need my powder to do, well, I do like my powder to do some things, but like, I think when a powder like picks a lane too hard, where it's like, this is really good for dry skin, I feel like those don't do anything for me. And then anything too matte, I feel like we swing the other way. And anything loose, I just use too much of. And I just feel like this really allows me to do what I need to do without me having to worry about it. And for that, I respect it. Now, God, I hope there's no more Charlotte Tilbury products for the rest of this video. But I do have another powder. As you remember, I don't like to be perceived. And in order to do that, I need to use a blurring powder. And my preferred one is the Kackie Perfect Blur Powder. Broken record here. This is really old. This is 2 years old, and I'm not done with it. Not only that, it doesn't come in this packaging anymore. This is limited edition packaging. This is a finishing powder. So anytime when I do my other 2 powders, this is like then the last powder that I use. Now, if you have dry skin, you're probably listening to me talk and going, why would you use that many powders? If you have dry skin, I would just use this because it's probably going to do enough setting for you. But it's also going to blur. The thing is, it does need to be buffed into the skin for the blurring to work. I find that when I use like a regular loosely packed powder brush, which is like what you normally use for powder, I find that I don't like really see the blur as much. I just really think that this like puts the final touch on my skin and makes it look really good. And if I had dry skin, I would just use this and I wouldn't use all my other powders because I know that dry skin. But also I don't have dry skin, so don't listen to me if you have dry skin. Listen to someone else who talks about powder. Because I find powder very useful because I have oily skin, but I'm never trying to achieve matte. But I think because I have oily skin and I use a lot of powders that are like kinder to dry skin, I think I can get away with like layering them up. I really appreciate it and like it. And this is a Kackie Perfect Blur Stan account. And I bought this because of Teresa's dead 2 years ago because she said, it's limited edition, they're never going to bring it back. And then they certainly added it to their permanent collection. Kackie almost made it on the list twice, but the other products are a little too new to me for me to add them. Okay, let's talk about the eyes. So I did use the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This has been really, really good. I find that most eyeshadow primers I use work pretty well for me, and I do have really oily eyelids. But for some reason, this one really does it for me. It reminds me like a little bit of my Air Atelier one that was from a brand that no longer exists. Air Atelier is no longer with us, RIP. And their whole thing was that they just made primers like lip, face, and eye primer. This has been a very good replacement. It took me a really long time to get my hands on this, but like I really like it. It's worked out really well for me. It doesn't do glitters very well, but I wouldn't use it for glitters. For my mattes and my satins, this is perfectly fine. I could put this on my eyes. I could work out on Peloton for 45 minutes and then surprise, 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 surprise! I don't know how to talk about an eyeshadow primer and to be like, it's really good. I feel like an eyeshadow primer review is something that you get inside of another thing when a person has like just made a decision very passively telling you about it. But I can very confidently say in this video with my full chest that I would buy this again. All right, when it came to eyeshadows, I decided that I would kind of bend the rules. Instead of using like picking an eyeshadow palette, that didn't feel how I do my makeup anymore at this juncture. And obviously like my makeup style and evolution will evolve over time. But right now I've been choosing like a matte palette and then I've been choosing like a single shadow. And so what I've distilled it down to is what would be the matte palette that I would pick if I could only pick one of my matte palettes, and which eyeshadow, which single shadow would I pick if I could only pick one. That doesn't leave me with a lot of options if this was truly all I had, but I could do a lot of looks with the matte. It's just the shimmer that I picked is kind of limiting, but I think it's my truth. So let's start with the palette that I chose. And I chose the Viseart Grand Pro 1X. And I chose this because you do have a lot of options. Now, I love my Hindash palettes, and I do think I like Hindash's matte formula a smidgen better than I like Viseart. But both are kind of like unparalleled. It's like those two are my top two, and they're like really close. Like they're really close. I really like both of them. I would have to pick Beautopsy or Monochromance, and I like both of them, and I kind of always have them both out when I'm using them. But I could do a lot more with this. You know, we have some color here, and then we have all of these like browns in here, leaning cool, leaning warm, some neutral down the middle. I would want some options, but like not the most options, but like this is really good. When it comes to color, I'm probably not ever really gonna get more colorful than like those ones right there. So I think this really fills my cup up, if you know what I mean. Do I know what I mean? Let's talk about the sparkle. Do you know what it is? Leave a guess down below. What did they pick? What did they pick? What did they pick? I picked... Oh, that's not even the right one. Spoiler. I picked Fractal Freesia from Phytosurgeons. And I'm going to tell you why. This is like ethereal, beautiful, sparkle makeup. It is that. And I really like it for that. I was pretty resistant to trying Phytosurgeons' cream formula because I've just had bad experiences with cream formulas where I put them on my oily lids and they crease. I put it on top of primer. I put it on top of glitter glue and it just immediately dissipates. Immediately dissipates. Now, there's one thing for like a grungy look, but like cream shadows would be like fully eaten by my lid. Like it would be like at the end of the day, there would be not even like a line of pigment going through my crease. It'd just be like, they'd be gone. And I don't love that. And these Phytosurgeons ones last on my lids like all day. I don't know why I'm from Brooklyn all of a sudden, but all day. You know, they last on my lid all day. Why does it keep all day? All day. It's not just all day. All day. All day. I do need to put like eyeshadow primer and then a powder underneath. Also, this is pretty translucent, so it's not like it has full pigmentation. So I wouldn't put it on top of a bare lid anyway. So putting that like same color of my skin powder down first before applying this also like hides my skin. I have like a little bit of a red eyelid, so like some coverage is nice, and I don't really need it from my eyeshadow primer. I like to get it from the powder that I set my eyeshadow primer with. And when I do that, it lasts all day. If I put it on my bare lid, it doesn't last as long because the oils really break it down pretty quickly. But having the primer and the powder to have to break through before it starts breaking down the cream shadow, it like really doesn't happen. And so then I'm left with this beautiful ethereal glow. This is not the sparkliest. It's not also the least sparkly, and it leaves you with just like the right sparkle. And I picked Fractal Freesia over like Lunar Lightwave because I've had this one longer, and it is the one I still think of whenever I think about using one of those eyeshadows. And I also have two newer ones, which I don't know as well, which is also why I didn't pick those. But I could also, because it is sheer, top, like I could put that blue all over my lid from the Viseart palette and just like tap it on. Because I mostly use Fractal Freesia as a topper, it was really versatile, and I could do a lot of things with it, even just with these two things. So they're the best, in my opinion. When I'm thinking also, like, if it was the only thing that I had in my makeup collection, I think I'd be pretty satisfied with just Fractal Freesia. Okay, eyeliner. I mean, it should come as no surprise. The Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liners. I did a whole Victoria Beckham brand review. I didn't know I liked eyeliner until I tried the Victoria Beckham eyeliners. I was doing eyeliner just because I felt like I had to, but now I really enjoy the process of eyeliner. Here's why. And this is something that is going to be a negative to some people. This glides onto my eyes. It does not tug my eyes at all. And it's instant pigment whenever I put it to my eye. I cannot stand when I put something on my eyelid, when I put like liner on my lid, right close to my lash line, and it just like tugs and it doesn't really have any payoff. Creamy, dreamy, beautiful. Gives you ample time to blend it out. And I've been really into like smudgy, like a smudged out wing. And this allows me to smudge it out before it sets. But when it does set, we're good. We're solid. Baby, we're solid. And then it also plays really well in my waterline. Now, some people have not had the experience with the waterline, but it works in my waterline. But my eyes aren't very watery to begin with. So maybe if you have really watery eyes, this might not be good in your waterline, but it works perfectly for me in the waterline. And I don't use this smudger anymore, but I really was okay with this smudger, but now I've been using some of my new Refer brushes to smudge it out, and then it's even better that way. And I did choose the shade Cocoa over Ash because I find that Cocoa can kind of like waver in between. Like you can get some, work it with cool tones. I've done it with both. Cocoa is the one I've used more than Ash, but I do use Ash quite a bit because I'm into cool tones more, but like I just think Cocoa is a more well-rounded shade. So if I was only going to keep one of them, it's Cocoa. For mascara, I only have one mascara right now. This actually wouldn't be the mascara I would choose, but right now oh, did I put this on camera? I don't even know that I did. If I didn't put this on camera, the YSL Lash Clash is the current mascara that I'm using. I'm going to go back to Surratt Releve mascara when I'm done with this. So the reason I bought this is because I was going on a trip and I needed it now. And if I had ordered the Surratt one, it wouldn't have come in time. So that's why I just chose this because I could buy it at Sephora. I still really love the YSL Lash Clash. It just smudges a little bit. And especially like it's not a good summertime mascara, but in the winter it's like a very, very solid mascara. But the Releve mascara has the fibers just kind of like this one does, but it also is a tubing formula. And I can't explain the physics of that to you, but all I know is that my lashes never look better than when I use the Releve mascara. Now my lashes look really good now, but the Releve mascara, that's really where it's at for me. Lip product. My camera's about to overheat, so I'm gonna power through these a little bit quicker. So I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao as my lip liner of choice. I've tried some lip liners in my day, and this color, this like cool toned brown, is a dream because I just love cool toned browns. But also not only that, just kind of like with the Victoria Beckham eyeliner, it glides onto the lip. It buffs out. One of the things that I have with a lot of lip liners is that they're so dry that they immediately feel like they are set. And I don't really, I like sometimes to have that like very defined line, but like lip liner, I typically put on it and I like buff out the edges because I think sometimes I don't really love the look of that just like really heavy line. Sometimes I do because it's like fun to do that sometimes. And also like anyone who does that, that's not me, looks really cool doing it. Sometimes I just like, I'm not in the mood for that. So I like something that has a little bit of time, and also it lasts really long on the lips after you put it on, even if you are wearing a gloss over top. It's really, really lovely. I don't know if I would like it as an eyeliner because this is kind of like one of those dual purpose things, but I follow my own rule, and this is what I would always tell people whenever I would sell this at Sephora. I'd be like, if you use it as an eyeliner, just continue using it as an eyeliner. But it's like, if you put it on your lips, don't you ever put it back in your eyes unless you sanitize it. And I told people not to switch between because most people are too, like, they're not going to sanitize it. And then they're going to put their lip gunk in their eye. I don't think that's going to work out very well for them. That's all I'm saying. And then for the lip product, what you see shining on my lips right now, what you see on my lips right now, what you're seeing, unfortunately, like I hate this, but it is also from YSL. And it is the Candy Glaze, and specifically the shade 14. This is the shade that Kackie bought me. You know how sometimes when I talk about like getting the color right the first time, and that's really the jam? Scenic Brown, shade 14 from the Candy Glaze line, is the perfect color for me, and Kackie like nailed it. Now there is another brown shade that I tried for them. It has a little more red in it, and so I don't like it as much. And the nude shade I bought from them was like pretty warm leaning. I also like the clear one, but Scenic Brown is where it's at. It's a nourishing, comfortable, pretty long wearing lip gloss formula. Baby, I don't know what to tell you. This shit rocked my fucking world. It like fucked me up, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite, and that's why I have 4 of them. It's my favorite lip formula, but Scenic Brown, I never want to ever live in a world where Scenic Brown is not available to me. Like, I know that I'm almost done with this one, and I will buy another one, even though I have 3 other lip glazes that I could use. But this one is the one. Oh, I also used Fix Plus. Classic. You know about Fix Plus. You've seen me in Fix Plus. You know it's the love of my life. Light of my life, fire of my lines, be a good baby, do what I want. That wraps up the video. I don't feel like I need to elaborate on Fix Plus, but thank you so much for watching. If you happen to be new to my channel and you haven't caught the vibe, my channel is mostly about focusing on the makeup that I already have as opposed to like buying all of the new things and trying to build the habit for myself and help you build the habit about being really discerning about the makeup that we are purchasing. When we see the makeup marketing, what are we actually learning about it? Like, how can we actually see through that and see what the product actually is and then make the best decision for us? Like, is it an actually good product for us? If you're into that kind of content, you vibe with that, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment. What are some of your favorites? I don't need to know all of them because sometimes I love you. I love you all, but sometimes you leave me like every single thing. Let's pick one. And then tell us why you love it and why that's your number one thing in that category and you'll never go out without it. And I also like this activity a lot because it really showed me that like, yeah, sometimes a new thing can come in and be my new favorite thing and it is my favorite thing. But also most of this stuff I've had for some time and it's like, that's the stuff that I really love. But I'm also on patreon.com, which I plugged a little bit earlier. It's patreon.com/hautemesstom. I did joke about it. I am putting my vlog from the Creator and Friends trip over there. So if you want to see that, you can see that over there. But don't feel pressure to join my Patreon. Your money is your money and you can choose to do with it whatever you'd like. And just like you have to be discerning about makeup products, you also have to be discerning about where else your money goes. So if I'm not the place your money needs to go or where you want it to go, then don't give it to me. But that's absolutely fine. Patreon does have other additional content. I do my podcast with Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty over there called Dumb Bitch Hour. We have a lot of fun with that every week, in addition to some of additional content like vlogging and stuff. And I think that's that. I think it's that. My camera didn't overheat, so we made it to the end. So hoties, remember to follow your hoe, and you'll find me. I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Bye-bye. Friends.